that income? Definitely, that's not compensation. That's not income from profession. So what do you think? Is it income from business? What's your answer? Yes or no? Is it income from business? Take note, pag business, there's continuity daw, no? Of dealings in pursuit of the purpose of an organization. That implies, no? That is implied sa business. So you're all correct. No, hindi siya income from business. Ang tawag doon, income from dealings in property. And we're gonna discuss that separately. Okay? Pero kung nagtayo ako ng hardware dyan sa tabi ng kalsada, no? Then every day, I conduct my operations, so benta sa mga customer, tapos bibili ako sa mga suppliers, okay? So along the way, of course, I make profit, no, from conducting this endeavor, no? And I do it regularly, no? So that's an example of income from business. So is income from business different from income from dealings of property? So the answer is yes. At ang difference naman ng dalawa, yung continuity ng activity. Okay? At ang tax ay magkaiba. And of course, we will discuss later. Okay, so pag gross income sa mga manufacturing, merchandising, mining, of course, that's sales minus cost of goods sold. No? Okay? Plus yung mga incidental income. Pag service, that's revenue less direct. Okay? So hindi kasama yung indirect. Okay? Cost and expenses. Okay? Ito na lang, let me ask you. No? Ang gross income ba at saka sales ay parehas? So hindi, no? Hindi sila parehas. So for you to arrive at gross income, you have to deduct cost of goods sold from sales or yung tinatawag natin na direct cost and expenses. Okay? So magkaiba yung dalawang yan. No? At sa taxation, ang tinatax natin yung gross income, not necessarily the gross sales. Okay? So you have to be careful with the technicality. No? Okay? Okay, so question number 4, just to check our knowledge. No? Which of the following statements is incorrect? So what's your answer to this question? Okay? Ano ang maling letter dun sa choices? The answer here is letter C. No? Income from business may be subject to capital gains tax. Although we haven't discussed this lengthily, ito yung tinatawag na CGT. No? Ang CGT ay tax yan sa income from dealings of properties. Hindi siya tax sa income from business. Okay? So when you encounter the term capital gains tax, you're talking about what type of income? Capital gains tax, no? That kind of income tax is imposed on what type of income? Hindi siya sa business income but income from dealings of properties. Okay? So it's a very important point, no? Kaya ang gulo-gulo ng taxation at naguguluhan yung mga nag-aaral ng taxation because there are these little points, no, na kailangan ma-pinpoint mo. malaki kasi yung effect niya sa understanding niya. No? Okay? So from now on, when you encounter the term CGT or capital gains tax, that's only applicable to income from dealings in properties. Okay? That's the type of income that's relevant. That's the one being pertained to when you talk about CGT. Okay? So income from business is not income from dealings of property. Di ba magkaiba yun? May continuity yung una, yung pangalawa ay wala. No? So, yan. Okay? The rest are good. No? These are all correct. So, yeah. Okay, so ito na nga. No? Ito na nga. So, we have income from dealings in property. Okay? So, dealings in property, such as sales or exchanges, may result in a gain or loss. Okay? The kind of property involved, whether the property is capital asset or an ordinary asset, determines the tax implication and the income tax treatment. No? Kaya itong income from dealings in property, this is a complex topic that it really deserves a separate module on its own. Bakit siya complex? Unang-una, marami ang property. So, okay? Tapos, anong dealings ba ang meron dyan? No? At anong income yan? No? So, and those things have different tax implications. And therefore, they have different income tax treatment. Okay? So I hope you forgive me by saying na we will discuss this separately. Kasi doon siya sa dealing sa property. Kasi baka isipin nyo, dinidefer ko lang ng dinidefer, but that's not the case. No? It's a complex topic kasi yung income from dealings in property. Okay? So what are the incomes so far that we have introduced, discussed? No? So compensation versus professional income. Yung dalawa, no? So you know the difference between the two, right? So it depends kung merong employer-employee relationship. Okay? If there is, then that's compensation income. Okay? If there's none, then therefore that's professional income. Okay? Then we introduced yung income from business and income from dealings in properties. No? So, okay? Depende kung may continuity or walang continuity yung activity. No? So, significant na alamin yung different types ng income kasi they have different tax implications. Okay? For instance, yung tinatawag na CGT or capital gains tax, that's only applicable to what type of income? So that's income from dealings in properties. Okay? You don't apply that kind of tax to income from business. Okay? You don't apply that kind of tax, yung CGT, to compensation income, of course, or to professional income. Okay? So, yan, no? Now let's tackle another type of income, which is interest income. So this income derived from depositing or lending of money, goods or credits. Okay? Kung subject na siya to final withholding tax, it's no longer included in taxable income. So that's the rule. No? That's why it's called final withholding tax. Okay? So, dinagdag lang ako dito, pag zero coupon yung bond. Ito yung bond na zero ang interest. Pero, meron pa rin siyang interest income. And that is received upfront upon purchase ng bond and not upon maturity. So, the issuer shall withhold final withholding tax on the discount. So, pag zero coupon yung bond, it doesn't mean na zero ang interest income. Merong interest income, and that is the discount. Kunwari, ang face value niya is 1,000 pesos. Okay? Zero interest. And it's going to mature in 2 years. No? Usually, pagka binili mo yung ganyang bond, you're gonna pay less than 1,000. So let's say binili mo lang ng 800 pesos. So yung discount na 200 is in the form of interest income. So zero coupon bond or zero interest debt instrument doesn't mean for taxation purposes zero interest income. Meron pa rin siyang interest income, and that is in the form of the discount. Okay? So, yan. Sige nga, let's test our knowledge. No? Teka lang, let me point out muna this one. Sabi dito, kung yung interest income ay na-subject na to final withholding tax, it's no longer included in taxable income. Okay? So what does it mean? Lahat ba ng interest income ay sinasubject to final withholding tax? O merong mga sinasubject din to the regular or normal income tax? What's your answer to that question? Lahat ba ng interest income are subject to final withholding tax? Or meron din na subject to regular or normal income tax? So the answer is meron din subject to regular. And we'll find out sa next number. Pero I'll give you a hint na. No? Ang mga sinasubject to final withholding tax na interest income, usually, yung earned as in the form of being passive income. Pero kung active income mo siya, it will fall under the category of income from business. Kung active income mo yun, no? Kung yun talaga yung business activity mo. It's not passive, therefore, if it is your the course of your business, no? And therefore, it's income from your business at hindi yun subject to final withholding tax. Kasi ang pina-final withholding tax, yung mga passive income. Okay? So, apply natin dito sa question na to. Interest income from peso loans granted by banks. Okay? Ang mga bangko, ang negosyo nila ay magpautang. And as a result, they actively earn interest income. Okay? So, ano talaga ang tawag mo dito sa interest income ng bangko? Is this a passive income or is this their income from business? Well, the business is a bank. The business is a bank, right? So what is this interest income that they earn from lending? So therefore, this is income from their business. This is not, therefore, passive income. Therefore, what's your answer? So the interest income is subject to what? The answer here is letter A. This is subject to regular corporate income tax. So you're not supposed to answer yung B or C. Kasi yung final tax on interest income is applicable yan when the interest income is earned from their passive income. Kunwari, si Banco de Oro, meron siyang deposit kay Metrobank. Yan, no? So, di ba nag-earn din yun ng interest? Pero since deposit lang yun at ganun naman talaga ang pera, dinideposit, so hindi ka naman talaga kahit sino naman pwede mag-deposit kahit walang business, di ba? So, that's in the form of passive income. And therefore, in that case, subject yun to final withholding tax. Okay? So you should check the activity from which interest is earned. But in this case, the activity is loan. And that's the business of the bank. Okay? So that's subject to regular corporate income tax. Now, the next income is dividend. Okay? I hope you're familiar already with dividend. Ito yung dinidistribute ng mga corporation sa kanyang shareholders, no? Out of its earnings. So, for example, nag-invest ka kay Meralco at si Meralco kumita siya ng 1 billion pesos. Meron kang 50% ownership kay Meralco, hypothetically. No? So, lahat ng income niya, dinistribute niya. So, that's dividends. And you receive half of that because you own 50% in Meralco. Okay? So, that's dividend income on your part. No? Ganon din ang rule. Pagka yung dividend income ay na-subject na to final withholding tax, it's no longer included in taxable income. Okay? And we have discussed already yung dividend income before. Depende kung sino ang naka-receive sa kanya, di ba? Okay? Pag mga individuals, then subject yan to final withholding tax. Pero kung intercorporate yung dividend, that's exempt. Okay? Kung galing naman sa foreign, usually taxable, pero there are cases na exempt din. So you may have to go back dun sa topics natin sa taxpayers, okay, to refresh your knowledge, no, on the different tax rates or maybe exempt, depende kung sinong recipient ng dividend income. But then again, kung na-subject na yan sa final withholding tax, then therefore it's no longer included in taxable income. Okay? So there are different types of dividends: cash, stock, property, liquidating, tapos scrip. The most common is of course yung cash. And valuation is kung magkanong amount niya talaga in money. No? Stock dividend is generally tax exempt. You know, if you receive stock dividend, economically, there's really nothing na nagbago. Okay? Kasi before and after you receive the additional number of stocks because of the stock dividends, you still own the same interest in that company. So therefore, economically, wala naman talaga nadagdag sa'yo na income pag ang na-receive mo ay stock dividend. If you own 10% of the company before the stock dividend, even after that, 10% pa rin yung ownership mo. So, economically, walang nagbago. Dumami lang yung hawak mo na number of shares. Pero proportionately, you still own the same portion of interest dun sa kumpanya. No? So, for taxation, kung wala ka naman talagang income, then therefore, it's tax exempt, generally. No? Ang property naman is taxable yan at fair value kung kailan siya dineclare. Okay? Ang liquidating, hindi talaga siya dividend income. Kasi what happens is, originally, di ba, nag-invest ka sa kumpanya. Let's say nag-invest ka ng 100,000. Pag nag-liquidate yung kumpanya, ibig sabihin magsasara na yan. So ibabalik na sa mga shareholders yung kanilang original investment. So therefore, it's not really a dividend, but a return of your original investment. Okay? So when you say liquidating dividend, it's not really dividend income because it's a return of your original investment. However, pwede kang magkaroon ng gain dun sa shares. Okay? Kasi lalabas para mong binenta yung shares mo. Okay? Kasi mawawalan ka na ng shares kasi nagsara na yung kumpanya. No? So kung originally you invested 100,000 and ultimately ang binalik sa'yo ay 120,000. So para mong binenta yung shares na hawak mo for a gain of 20,000. Okay? So is there dividend in that scenario to speak of? The answer is none. There's no dividend at all. Okay? So kaya naman ang rule sa liquidating dividend, subject siya to ordinary income tax rates and not to the final withholding tax on dividends. Because in the first place, liquidating dividend is not really a dividend income. So it's not supposed to be subject to final withholding tax on dividends. Okay? Pero kung binalik sa'yo, 70,000 na lang from your original investment na 100,000, then you actually incurred a loss amounting to 30,000. Okay? That's liquidating dividend. Yung scrip dividend naman, ang binigay sa'yo, instead na cash, ang binigay sa'yo ay promissory notes. But eventually, yung promissory notes na yan will be paid to you in cash. So therefore, taxable yan in the year the promissory note, the warrant, was issued. Kasi that's essentially a cash dividend. It's just that the payment was postponed. Pero ang taxation, hindi raw siya mapopostpone. Because the taxation is in the year the warrant or the promissory note was issued. It's not in the year the note will be paid or is paid. No? Okay? So yeah. Now, dividends that are exempt from income tax. So yung intercorporate, yung received from a domestic corporation by another domestic corporation or resident foreign corporation. Lentily, diniscuss natin to nung nandun tayo sa module ng corporate taxpayers. No? Okay? So you might want to go back to that. Then we have pure stock dividend. So, di ba, exempt yan dahil there's really no economic gain or income pagka ang stock dividend ang na-receive mo. Finally, we have liquidating dividend. That's exempt from income tax as dividend because liquidating dividend is not really dividend. But if you have gain or loss, then you might consider that in your income tax. Okay? Because that's disposal of the shares, no? Yung liquidating dividends. At yung na-receive pala sa cooperative. Okay? Kasi cooperative normally are exempt from income tax. Okay? So, taxable stock dividends. So, kung yung stocks are niredeem, so in substance, cash dividend talaga siya. So let's say si Jollibee, para lang makaiwas sa income tax, nag-declare kunwari ng stock dividend. Pero later on, ang ginawa niya, binayback niya rin tong stock dividend na to. So sabi ng tax code natin, that's technically cash dividend. And if yes, then therefore, that is subject to income tax. Okay? Kung yung stockholders' proportionate share ay nagbago as a result of the option exercised for cash dividend instead of the stock dividend. Ang exempt na stock dividend, yung purely stock dividend. Okay? But yun yung hindi nagbago yung interest mo. No? If that changed, then therefore yung portion na itinaas ng interest mo sa kumpanya, that's an income. Okay? Kasi lumaki ang ownership mo. Okay? Then therefore, that's taxable. The next one is royalty income. Okay? This is payment paid to owner for the right to use, no? Yung normally mga invention. Yeah. So kung subject to final withholding tax, it's no longer included in taxable income. Okay? What's your answer to question number 6? Royalties considered as active income is subject to what? What's your answer? I told you kanina, kailan lang sinasubject to final withholding tax yung isang income? If it is passive, no? Pero kung active yan, the answer is subject yan to basic income tax. Okay? Ang dahilan, hindi naman siya passive income, but rather, that's income from business. Okay? Yeah. So, rental income. This is income for use or enjoyment of a thing or a right and implies a fixed sum to be paid at a stated time. So I think you're very familiar naman with this, no? Rental income. Okay? Ang rental income ay yung cash na na-receive, pati daw yung lessor's obligation, pero in-assume ni lessee. For example, real estate tax. For example, no? Meron akong lupa. Okay? So every year, binabayaran ko yung amilyar or real property tax. Okay? Usually, ang binabayad ko ay 5,000 pesos per year, no? Doon sa lupa na yun. Pinarentahan ko yung lupa. So let's say 100,000 per year. Okay, per year. Pero ang usapan namin, siya na ang magbabayad ng amilyar. So naka-receive ako ng 100,000 from my lessee. Okay, as a lessor, I receive 100,000 from my lessee. Pero sa income tax return ko, how much ang i-report ko na income? What do you think? How much should I report as my rent income? I receive 100,000. That's the cash. Is that it? Okay. The answer is no. you should also be reporting yung 5,000. So therefore, my total income is 105,000. Are we clear? Okay, so hindi lang yung cash na na-receive, pati yung mga inassume na obligasyon mo, pero binayaran ni lessee mo. No? So economically, that's yours, no? As income. Okay? That's, yeah. Okay, one of the following income shall be returned in the year received, even if the accounting method used by the taxpayer is accrual basis. Alam nyo, class, ang tax code natin, binigyan tayo ng leeway to use yung generally accepted accounting principles, yung GAAP, di ba? And kadalasan, ang GAAP would usually require us to report our income using accrual basis of accounting. At ano ibig sabihin ng accrual basis of accounting? You report your income at the time it is earned rather than kung kailan na-receive. In fact, pag na-receive mo na, pero hindi mo pa earned, di ba ang tawag dun sa accounting is unearned pa siya. It's not an income yet, but a liability. Okay? So, normally ganun, ha? Binigyan ka ng leeway ng income, ng tax code to use GAAP. Okay? To use GAAP. No? However, there's one particular income na wala kang choice, kundi i-report na siya na income agad kung kailan mo na-receive. Kahit ang gamit mo na method of accounting is accrual method. So, anong income daw yun? Which of the following income shall be returned? Meaning, shall be filed in your ITR. In the year, it is received. Even if your accounting method is accrual. What's your answer? So, clue. What topic are we discussing right now? So, that, you're all correct. The answer is rental. So, tandaan nyo, pag rent income, basta na-collect na yan, you report it entirely. Kahit na for the next 5 years pa talaga siya applicable, sa balance sheet mo, naka-report pa siya na liability. Okay? Pero sa ITR mo, the entire amount is already taxable. Kaya merong tinatawag na reconciliation or reconciling item between your income statement na under GAAP versus your ITR. Okay, let's say 500,000 yun. Yung first year, yung na-earn, 100,000. Okay? So, yung natitirang 400,000 is in the next 4 years pa. Sa income statement mo, 100K yung i-report mo. Pero sa ITR, i-report mo na yung buong 500,000. So, meron ka lang reconciling item na 400,000. That's why may tinatawag na deferred tax. Have you taken already your financial accounting? Not yet. Yes, meron na pala kayong financial accounting. What volume is it na? Have you studied already liabilities? Not yet. Yun. So may topic kayo doon na income tax. Yeah, that's correct, Dexter. No? IAS 12 yun. No? Ay, sorry. Intermediate accounting 2 pala yan. The standard is past 12. Yung sa income tax. So may deferred, may reconciling item. Okay? But I've been telling you before na when you study income tax, apply the rules ng tax. Kasi minsan may pagkakaiba siya sa accounting para hindi kayo malito. No? Like this one, in the case of rent income, tax code requires you report it entirely. Okay? Whether you're using accrual-based accounting or not. So let's continue. Advance payment. Kung loan daw yan sa lessor or an option money for the property or just a security deposit. Therefore, it's not an income. Okay? Ano sa tingin nyo, class? Bakit? Kasi sabi natin kanina, pag na-collect mo, advance payment, kahit advance payment pa yan, income na agad, di ba? Pero, kung yung palang na-collect mo na advance payment ay loan pala kay lessor, option money for the property, or simply a security deposit. Bakit hindi siya income pala? I'll give you a clue. There's one word that appropriately describes bakit hindi siya income. Yung loan, option money, security deposit. Because this money is still hirap magsulat, no? Still refundable. Or still payable back to the lessee. So remember, kung lessor ka, tapos pinautang kita, ako yung lessee mo, that's not your income because you're gonna pay it back to me. Tama? So, okay, I made just a security deposit. After the lease term, I'll have to claim it back. That's refundable, di ba? So you're not supposed to report that as income. Okay? Ang tinutukoy natin na advance payment kanina na talagang rent income is yung applicable sa rental. Okay? So, a security deposit, that is, pero pag in-apply mo raw yung security deposit, then that becomes taxable income. Kunwari, may security deposit ako sa'yo, pero kinonsume ko yun. Then therefore, that's taxable na. Okay? Pero kung refundable pa yan, that's not yet an income to your part. Okay? So prepaid rent is income in full in the year of receipt, regardless of the accounting method applied. Okay? Now, pag may VAT na dinagdag sa rental or binayaran ng lessee, so if the lessee is VAT registered, then that's treated as input VAT. Otherwise, kung hindi siya VAT registered and not liable to VAT, then that's additional rent expense, deductible from gross income. Security deposit is not subject to value-added tax. However, if it is applied to rental, then subject to VAT na yan. Don't worry, you'll learn more about VAT sa next semester when we tackle na yung tax 2 nyo. No? So for now, it's just here. Okay? You may go back to that next semester. Dinagdag ko lang siya para kompleto yung discussion. No? Kasi sometimes, may VAT yung rental. Okay? Now, income from leasehold improvements. Okay? So this refers to improvements on the leased property. which will become property of the lessor upon expiration ng lease contract. Imagine this one, class. Nagparenta ka ng lupa lang, no? Okay, let's say 1,000 square meters, no? Yung pinarentahan mo yung lupang yun. Then, yung lessee mo nagpatayo ng building. Ang kontrata nyo dun sa lease is only for 5 years. Pero nagpatayo siya ng building. Yung building could last for more than 5 years, no? So ang usapan nyo ay after 5 years, sa'yo na yung building. Then, therefore, meron kang income doon. So nagkaroon ng improvement doon sa leasehold. Okay? So, yung method na pwede mong gamitin to report the income is pwedeng outright method or spread out method. Pag outright, in the year the improvement is completed, i-report mo siyang income at fair market value. So let's say day one pa lang nung 5 years, ang bilis naman mag-construct, no? So let's say day one nung 5-year contract nyo, natapos yung building. Then, you report the fair value ng building, let's say 10 million, as your income. So yung journal entry mo doon, you debit building, and you credit income. Okay? So meron kang building na asset, but it did not cost you anything. Right? That's your income. Okay? Pero syempre, dahil building mo na yun, you'll subject that to depreciation over its useful life. Let's say ang useful life nun is 25 years, then you divide over 25 years. That's your depreciation. Okay? Pero outrightly, meron kang income na 10 million using the outright method. Many taxpayers do not want to use that method kasi that's a lot of tax, no? That you outrightly report. So the other method that you can use is spread out method. Meron kang income per year, which is the estimated book value at the end of the lease contract over the remaining lease term. So dun sa example ko, bali, ang estimated na book value doon, pagkatapos ng 5 taon na lease term, is 20 years, no, out of 25. Kasi de-depreciate mo over 25 years. Then, pagkatapos ng lease term na 5 taon, ang matitira 20 years, no? So, yung 20 years na yon is i-divide mo ng remaining lease term. Let's say 5 years, no? Then you'll spread out the book value na meron over the lease term na 5 years. Then you'll get your income per year, no? Okay? So, yun nga lang, pag terminate, then you have additional income kasi parang lalabas na ito, meron ka na write mo yung income mo. So the value of the improvement versus yung already reported mo na income, you report as additional income. Okay? No appreciation in value due to causes other than pre-termination shall be included. Okay? No revaluation. Pag nasira naman yung property before the lease expiration, you're entitled to deduct the loss. Okay? When for the year when such destruction takes place. So at the amount previously reported as income, less any salvage value, as long as it's not compensated. Okay? Let's have an illustration para mas ma-appreciate nyo, no? On July 1, 2018 rather, Mr. V leased his vacant lot for a period of 12 years to Mr. J. Ang annual rate is 2.4 million. It was agreed na Mr. J will pay the following. So 4.8 million representing rental payment for 2 years. Then subsequent rental payment every year thereafter. Anong rule sa prepaid rent na to? When do you apply the prepaid rent as income? Again, regardless of your accounting method, even if it is accrual method, what's the rule? The rule is, kahit accrual pa yung gamit mo, the entire 4.8 million is reported as income. So parang cash basis. No? Pag na-receive mo na yan, since na-receive mo na yung 4.8, income na agad lahat yun. Okay? Anong rule naman sa security deposit? Na 2.4 million. Is this considered as prepaid rent? Income na ba siya? No, because it is still refundable. Unless it is applied. Okay, pag in-apply yan as rent, then that's the time it becomes an income. Okay? Annual real property tax. So sino nag-shoulder nito? Ang nag-shoulder ay si lessee, which is an obligation dapat ni lessor. So for the lessor, that should be part of his income. Okay, not just the cash received, as well, but as well as the obligations assumed by the lessee. Okay? Later natin basahin tong next paragraph kasi later pa naman yan. Okay? Dito muna tayo sa question. Mr. V shall report total income for the lease, from the lease rather, for 2018 at how much? The answer, class, is the 4.8 million plus the 30,000. So the answer should be 4.83 million. So answer is letter C. So I hope you were able to catch that, okay? Yeah. Ituloy ko muna yung pagbasa dito sa paragraph na to. Yung kontrata pala nila, nire-require si lessee na mag-construct ng 5-story building for parking. Ang cost ay 36 million. No? Ownership of the building shall belong to the lessor upon expiration or termination ng lease contract. The building was completed July 1, 2020, which is after 2 years from July 1, 2018. Out of 12 years na lease period, ang natitira na lang ay 10. Tama? Remaining lease term is 10 years. Pero ang useful life ng building is 15 years. So ilang taon pa ang matitirang useful life pagkatapos ng natitirang lease term? Out of 15, after remaining 10 years, 5 years na lang ang matitirang book value nun. So, tuloy natin. Pero hindi natin kinonsider yan kasi 2020 pa naman yan, di ba? Ang question dito sa una, 2018. So, sumunod na tanong, assuming Mr. V will use outright method sa pag-recognize ng income from leasehold improvements, how much is the total income for the year 2020? Pag outright, magkano nare-report mo na income? The fair market value. So let's say the fair market value is the cost, which is 36 million. So yung annual income mo na 2.4, kasi after 2 years na to, the 30,000. So ang sagot ay 38.43 million. So letter C ang answer din. Okay? Pag dinepreciate mo yan, dapat over the useful life, which is, of course, 15 years. No? So that's using outright method. So it's relatively easier to apply than the spread out method. So for the outright method, you just have to report as income the fair market value. Now, assuming daw, susunod na tanong, ang gamit niya is spread out. Magkanong income sa year 2020? Balikan natin. Ano bang nire-report pag spread out? Pag spread out, ang nire-report is income per year. At paano kina-compute yung income per year? You have to compute the estimated book value after ng lease contract. Ilang years ang matitirang book value after ng lease contract? Answer, 5 years. Kasi after 10 years sa 15 useful life, 5 years na lang matitira. Then yung book value na yan, i-divide mo ng remaining lease term, which is 10 years pa, di ba? So therefore, that's the income per year, spread out. So here's the computation. Okay. Yung 36 million multiplied by 5 over 15. Okay. So that's 5 over 15. The 5 over 15 is the book value na matitira after ng lease term. Divide mo ng lease term, that's the annual income. But since July 1 yan, 6 months lang over 12. 6 months lang out of 1 year. So 600,000. So together with the other income, the total is 3,030,000, which is letter A. Okay, so I hope nasundan. Okay. Now, assuming that due to the fault of the lessee, the lease contract was terminated January 1. How much income ang i-report ni lessor? So this is the computation. Book value ng January 1, 2022. That's after 1.5 years. So ang natira, 13.5. Now, ang additional income mo is the book value na 13.4 million minus yung income na dineclare mo na from the leasehold improvements. So in 2020, you reported 600,000. In 2021, you reported 1.2 million. So prior years, you reported 1.8. So you have additional income of 30.6 million. Answer is letter B. Catch up mo lang siya, in other words. So this should be your income because this is the economic value of the property. So less, therefore, what you have already reported. Okay? Sige, we'll take a short break lang. 10 minutes break lang before we continue the next part. See you later.